Ho, ho, ho! It's December, Mike.
It certainly is.
Here he is.
Yeah.
Look at him, he's got that festive glow.
Yeah.
He's excited to hear about what games are coming out in December.
Certainly am.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, Mike, but that is the case, isn't it?
I'm not at all excited. No, I am excited. Let's do it.
Let's
go.
24 years after the release of the original PlayStation, Sony is bringing out a teeny tiny version of the console. It's 45% smaller and preloaded with 20 games. These include the original Grand Theft Auto, Rayman, Metal Gear Solid, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, and Final Fantasy VII. Plus, it comes with 2 replica controllers so that you can easily play with a PAL. But speaking of PAL...
Yes, I've heard that 9 out of the 20 games are the PAL versions, which are bad, apparently.
Yeah, so I'll be lying if I said I completely understand the technical stuff behind this, or at all. But Digital Foundry did like a breakdown of the hardware inside this thing, and they found that basically because they're running the PAL, not NTSC versions of the games, that basically makes them sort of slightly technically inferior. Like,
yeah,
affects the frame
they run
rate.
slightly slower. Basically, NTSC is 60 hertz, so 60 frames per second, like max, and PAL is 50. So they're sort of slightly slower, more sort of sluggish versions of the games, which is a shame. I mean, they're the only versions we ever played, right? I mean, none of us had like American.
It's probably just as well I don't get to see the 60 hertz one. My mind would be blown, probably.
But it is a bit of a shame, and in general, I feel like there's a slight whiff of having kind of rushed this out a bit.
For Christmas.
The selection of games isn't amazing. Like Wipeout's not there. No Crash Bandicoot.
No Crash Bandicoot, really?
No Crash Bandicoot.
No Tomb Raider at all?
No Tomb Raider.
No
Right.
Tomb Raider.
Now, I understand that when you've got to pick 20 games out of about sort of 700 or however many they release, it's going to be difficult. You're never going to have everyone's favourites, but those are some real iconic PlayStation games.
Yeah, it feels like some big omissions.
If it's a music licensing problem, like they could have gone to the effort of licensing the 8 tracks or whatever that are in Wipeout. I don't see that it's that much of a problem.
This feels to me maybe something that's going to appeal maybe to collectors. Like if you're a big fan of the original hardware, I think the novelty of having like a small version and it's got a little disc tray and stuff. So like if you're into that, if you're just into the design and the video game history side of things, it'd be all right. But yeah, there's some stuff missing. The gang's all here to punch each other's lights out! Yeah, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate comes to the Switch with a roster complete with every character that's been in the series. However, with new stages, new abilities and new characters, every Nintendo fan is catered for. Except Waluigi fans. Sorry! He might be a DLC character, you never know.
They do have a selection of DLC characters on the way, and I feel like even if they hadn't started work on him, they probably have by now.
I just get the feeling that at this point, they've dug their heels in, at this point it's the principle of the thing, like keep
Waluigi out of Smash.
Keep Waluigi out of Smash, yeah. I'm super excited about this, Mike.
It's going to be good fun, isn't it?
Yeah, have you played much Smash
Only
Brothers
the
before?
very first N64 one, which I did really, really enjoy. It's a fighting game, but it's not really a fighting game. It's more like a sort of manic multiplayer platform fighting game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's very much its own thing, and so I think it's definitely going to have a place on Switch because of the multiplayer. You'll be able to pop the controls out and just have a fight on the train or whatever. I think it's going to be really good, and the selection of characters is massive. Like R.I.P. Waluigi, but everyone else is there having fun without him. So,
do you have any preference who you play as? Because I had someone picked out who I thought you would play.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
It's a prominent Nintendo character who I don't know why I just felt like you would gravitate towards.
Ah, okay.
So who's it going to be?
Maybe someone a bit weird, who's a bit of a strange choice, like
Pac-Man.
No, Solid Snakes. He just looks so strange, like a normally proportioned human being in there amongst all the other characters. So I find that quite entertaining.
Okay.
What did they say I was going to play?
Donkey Kong.
What?
I just felt you would have affinity with Donkey Kong.
With the giant rampaging gorilla. I've never worn a tie in my life.
That's not Donkey Kong's defining characteristic.
It's his only item of clothing. He's like a strip.
If you want, you can play Smash Brothers like Donkey Kong, i.e. naked, but also with no tie. Would that help?
Am I allowed?
Yes, of course.
Great.
Mike, I can't stop you. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're going to do some live streams of it, actually, on Outside Xtra in December. So,
who are you going to play as?
Well, I love playing as Zelda most of all, but I also like to mix it up a little bit with Captain Falcon, just because I think Captain Falcon is so inherently hilarious. He's got this taunt where he goes, "Show me your moves," and which is just so...
Can we see it for comparison?
Yeah. There you go. So how was that?
Uncanny.
Uncanny, yeah. Pretty good.
I like Captain Falcon because he's from F-Zero, right? So
Yeah, which...
You should have brought his race car along there.
Yeah, F-Zero on the cusp of being forgotten.
There's like they recently announced the Piranha Plant as a character, right?
Yeah.
That looks hilarious. I'd quite like to play as Piranha.
Okay, you can be Piranha Plant. That is DLC, so you'll have to wait though. But by that point, you'll be so good at Smash, you'll be acing it. If you like rolling things up into big balls, then have we got good news for you. Katamari Damacy Reroll comes to the Switch and PC, a cult classic that has you roll things into larger and larger balls, but this time in shiny HD.
What have you heard about me and rolling things into balls?
Katamari, Mike, did you play it?
I have, yeah, played the original, yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it's fun.
It's really weird, right?
Yeah, it's very strange and sort of weirdly calming, like just the idea of sort of going around just rolling things up. It's like tidying up, but a kind of soothing tidying up. And then it has the cutscenes where the King of All Cosmos is just weird. It's very much its own thing, but I think people enjoy it. I just hope it isn't too expensive because it's a very old game.
Yeah, it feels like it shouldn't be more than a few pounds.
What am I saying? Everything on the Switch is really expensive.
Yeah.
I just got a Switch
60
recently.
quid, yeah.
Oh my god, I had to wait for Black Friday for Skyrim to come down to a mere £30.
£30 is not a bargain for Skyrim.
£33. I'm rounding down to do them a favour.
Hey man, like I love Skyrim as much as the next person, but that game came out in 2011. Hey Mike, Mario gotta eat.
Mario definitely gotta eat.
Mario, he needs that cheddar. Rico is back again with even more explosions, this time in Solis, an area of the world home to ridiculous storms such as blizzards, sandstorms and tornadoes. Taking on the Black Hand, Rico will be armed with an upgraded grappling hook, which players can customise the abilities of for their perfect playstyle. Also, to best attach rocket boosters to the local wildlife. Man, can I say, I don't really know what to think about Just Cause 4 because I had such a terrific time playing it, attaching like rockets and thrusters and balloons to stuff and just messing around with the physics sandbox. But I would say that I did that completely at the expense of whatever the story is.
I don't think the story really matters these days. It's more about just mucking about. And I think they've kind of embraced that. I think with Just Cause 3 they did that as well. You know, the kind of rocket boosters and things. They realised that this is the game. You know, it's a kind of silly sandbox about doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the story in Just Cause was always quite light anyway. It's more just like, here's a bunch of outposts and you can, you know, capture them in as creative a fashion as you like. So I'm up for more Just Cause 4. I've not played it. You have played it.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly handled well. It felt very robust and sort of satisfying to play. But yeah, like I can't really speak to anything beyond attaching a rocket to a cow because
sometimes that's enough.
That's all.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Wow, deep. But also, really not.
Sometimes actually you need a 30-hour campaign.
Yeah. Originally to be found in the Witcher games and playable in The Witcher 3, card game spin-off Gwent comes to consoles this month after its October PC release. Featuring cross-platform play between PC and each of the console versions, you'll have plenty of people to play along with. Plus, it's free. You may think, Mike, that Gwent has already been out for a long time.
Yes, it seems like a thing that was talked about a long time ago.
Yeah, and in a way you're right, because obviously it's been in The Witcher, and then you've been able to do like betas and early access. It's been a kind of like slow rollout.
Yeah.
But this marks the point where it leaves its sort of public beta phase and becomes an actual like finished product. One thing that is quite cool is that there's a cross-play, so if you are playing on PC, you can play with people on PS4, and if you're on PC, you can play with people on Xbox, but you cannot play between PS4 and Xbox. But it's a card game, this stuff shouldn't really matter.
It's like a Mexican standoff.
Well, like in Hearthstone, you can like cross-platform play like everything because it doesn't matter. Like you're just taking your turn doing a thing. Like as long as you've got a solid internet connection, it doesn't matter.
Via email.
Yeah, you could. It doesn't matter what you're playing it on. So if you've been waiting to give Gwent a go on console, this is your moment.
I haven't. I don't really understand card games.
Do you not?
No.
Did you not play Hearthstone at all?
No.
Oh, Mike.
I don't understand them.
Oh, they're not that it's not that complicated.
If you're fighting things, why don't you just fight them in The Witcher instead of like pretend fighting them with cards?
Because video games are basically just an extension of card games. Like, but under the surface, all games are just basically like this computer playing a card game against itself, trying to figure out what's happened. It's just numbers.
This is mind-blowing.
In a spreadsheet. So with the power of your imagination, the cards come alive.
Pretty nihilist view of video games.
No,
Like,
well, I mean,
nothing matters.
Yeah, it's just all just a big thing with numbers going up, isn't it?
Cool. Well, I
Oh
guess
my
why
God.
don't we just break it down to the numbers and the cards? And
End this list now because I've ruined video games for myself
me.
and you. But it's not the only Gwent thing that is happening.
Okay.
So let's move on to the next Gwent-related item.
Oh my God, there's more.
Yes, it's a Witcher-filled month, as also released the same day on consoles is Thronebreaker: The Witcher Tales. This is a standalone single-player version of Gwent with an RPG twist. You follow the story of Queen Maeve and her army exploring the fantasy world of the Witcher series. With a top-down art style, you'll gather resources, build up your army, and make decisions that will affect their morale and your chances of success when you battle using the card system. So this is another one that was out in PC in October and is now getting a console release.
Right.
I'm really excited about this.
A story is definitely more likely to make me play a card game.
Yeah.
But it's still quite low on my list of priorities. I mean,
Look,
my game of December is finishing Red Dead 2, probably.
Yeah, sure. I mean, hey, yeah, that's true for all of us. It is so punishingly long. I suppose we should be grateful.
There's card games in that as well, poker and stuff.
But
Gwent,
Thronebreaker. Look, you like Final Fantasy VII, right?
Yes,
And
this is
that's-
a trick question.
Yeah, and that's basically a turn-based fighting game with a story.
Yes, I suppose. Yes, you've got me there.
Ah, ha, ha, ha. So you have to play.
I don't have
Thronebreaker
to
now.
do anything, Luke.
Oh, damn, he's right. I am excited about this. I
Good.
feel like I have not played any Gwent at all, but I have played a lot of Hearthstone and really, really enjoyed it. And I think the single-player story stuff is where that game has always slightly lagged behind because I've never really enjoyed playing that nearly as much. It's not nearly as much fun as it is to play against like another human. So just having the story like element, I think is gonna be really interesting. So I'm keen. But
Cool.
where's the mobile version?
Oh, it'll arrive at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. There's too many people with phones who want to play card games not to.
In Dusk, you play as Dusk Dude, a treasure hunter who finds that this town in Pennsylvania has pretty much been possessed by demons after the discovery of underground Lovecraftian ruins. This retro-styled first-person shooter sees you pull off some ridiculous stunts with ridiculous firepower as you fight your way through your enemies. So this is a game that wears its influences
Yes.
very much on its sleeve.
Yes, and also lists them in its trailer as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it very much reminds me of Quake, particularly the kind of blood splatters look very kind of Quake 1. But it's got a kind of like a style that looks a bit like the Blood games, you know, with the kind of demons and the cultists and things like that. The producer worked on the remake of Rise of the Triad, which is a much more modern looking game, but based again on like a kind of retro shooter.
Yeah, I think with games like this, it's all about how it feels. Like you can't,
Yeah.
from watching the trailer, you can never really. It's all about like how satisfying it feels to like cruise around at like at slightly too fast and slightly too glidey.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. Yeah. If
That-
they've nailed that, then it's going to be absolutely
appealing,
brilliant.
yeah.
But yeah,
Interesting
like
one.
for me, it's a real like nostalgia hit. Certainly, like games that look like that. I've not played those
Yeah.
sorts of games for years and years and years.
And hey, if you want something to horrify Grandma this Christmas, so this is your hobby, is it?
I'm always looking for something to horrify Grandma this Christmas.
So, Mike, those were the December
They
games.
certainly were.
Which one are you most looking forward to?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red Dead
finishing
Redemption
that.
2, finishing that.
It's
Red Dead Online.
Probably Smash, right? Smash looks
Yeah,
really,
Smash.
really
It's
good
got to
fun.
be Smash. It's the game of December, people. Let's all pile in. Let's all be Donkey
Let's
Kong.
all, no. Now that he's mine, he's mine.
oh,
Okay.
okay, all
no
right,
one else
sorry.
is allowed to be Donkey Kong now.
All right.
Now that he's been
Hands off.
assigned to me.
Yeah. So, are there any December games coming out in December that we missed? There normally are a few. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't claim to be
We
comprehensive.
don't claim to be comprehensive, guys. If there are, then pop it in the comments to help your fellow internet travelers find out what else is out in December. And thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the new year for more games. Bye.
Space Year 2019.